There's a moment every entrepreneur hits. You're working harder than you ever have. The calendar is packed, but the inbox feels endless. That to-do list never gets shorter, and somehow the business still isn't growing the way that it should be. But the problem isn't effort. The problem is leverage. Welcome to the Leverage Podcast. I'm your host, John Davidson, and every week I'm sitting down with founders and top performers who have found that lever. The hire, the system, that mindset shift that changed everything. This show is for the business owner who's ready to stop being the bottleneck and start being the architect. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of the Leverage Podcast. I'm your host, John Davidson, and I am thrilled to be joined by an incredible serial entrepreneur. She is also an author, she's an investor, and she has helped so many entrepreneurs find funding that has really changed their businesses in a positive way. And you know, Kedma, they say, not all heroes wear capes, but you sure do. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, John.
Absolutely. Well, let's start. I want to hear, what is the story behind the cape? People listening may not understand that reference, but why don't you unveil it for us?
Yeah, I think, the only speaker on stage that wears capes. And sometimes when I come on, people think it's kind of weird or strange, or they even look towards like this is just very childish. And right. Well, here's the biggest lesson. It really falls on what we call first impressions. And first impressions happens behind the scenes, right? It happens subconsciously. Usually within 0 to even 30 seconds, you're making a first impression on someone. But what happens if your first impression is wrong?
Right.
Right? So what happens
and how often does that happen? Probably
all the time.
Quite often, yeah.
All the time. So now I want you to imagine you're having these first impressions, and now you're going through life with the assumption of these first impressions that are not right because you never validated. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Think about how many times you judged someone based on something you thought, but you never verified. So that's why I wear the cape, because people laugh and they think it's silly. Nothing's further from the truth. The reason I wear the cape is because I grew up back in the 70s. I'm the eldest of three girls. And at the age of 7, I knew something was not right in my home. It felt like a horror movie and I couldn't escape. That's right. And at the same time, the only way I could escape is I would come home from school and I would turn on the television and I would watch my favorite show, which was Linda Carter playing Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And one day, as a little girl, I was watching her and I thought that she was looking at me. And I had this crazy epiphany, John. I said to myself, well, what if I am Wonder Woman? And then as a 7-year-old, I said, but if I am Wonder Woman, then logically, there's supposed to be a villain in my house that's supposed to be harming me. Because you can't, right? Because you can't be a superhero without a villain trying to harm you.
Yeah.
And then I said, John, well, nobody's coming to save me. Why do I keep waiting? I'm going to have to save myself.
Because you're the hero.
Because I'm the hero. And it would take me 10 years to escape. So at the age of 18, I did escape. I went into hiding for 5 years, had my contract with God. And basically, it's a full story. But basically, I said, if I could get the opportunity to get an education, I'd spend the rest of my life helping open doors to every single person I meet. And that has been my journey now for 35 years. So that's why I wear the cape. And it only 2 years ago, my villain did die. And it was the first time I was able to even talk about who it was.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is really intense, but it's done in a way to show people that sometimes we misjudge and we always should ask before we judge. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I love about doing this podcast, and I had another one before this that was based on the stories of top performers. I heard this, I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's something like, you can't hate on someone after knowing their story.
It's true.
Right? Hurt people, right? Yep. And you never know what somebody's going through, even if it's like an off day and you had that first that first impression with them. But it's interesting, even someone who might come across as a jerk or might come
Mm-hmm.
across as
Mm-hmm.
a pompous or something, and
Mm-hmm.
then you hear their background
Yeah.
and you say, "Wow,
Yep.
I get it now." And sometimes it's you just had a bad day and that's not really what you're like
Mm-hmm.
as well. But
Right.
really like pulling the curtain back, and I really appreciate you sharing that
Thank
with me.
you.
And I know you've shared it with a lot of people. It takes a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah. Takes a lot of courage. It never goes away. It's still there. But I think someone who's going to be listening to this is going to it's going to resonate.
Yeah.
And I think you can't be afraid of being who you really are. So, yeah, it was a very long time ago, but when I talk about it, John, it feels like yesterday.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Feels like
Yeah.
yesterday. So,
That's intense.
it's intense. So that's why I wear the cape. Two reasons. One, never to forget where I came from, so I don't let ego drive me. And two, I just want to be not a bright light, because most people when I meet them they're like, "I want to be a bright light." I said, "No, I want to be a night light."
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, because if you think about it, most people are going through really hard time. They don't want to tell you. They're going through dark times, and in the
Mm.
darkest moments of your life, you just want a nightlight. You just want to
Yeah.
have enough light to walk through the hard times.
To
That's all
get
you need
through. Yeah.
to get through it, to get through it.
That's
So
a great
I end
analogy.
up being that. Hmm.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So,
Yeah.
another thing I'd love you to share with us, because you do a lot.
Yes, I
So,
do.
let's kind of like set the table and unpack this a little bit. What are all the things that you are currently working on?
Yes. Well, first, I want to let you know that if you are around a serial entrepreneur, that's really the term. They have
Hmm.
multiple things that they're excited about, but it usually patterns around something. For me, my pattern is around finance. Anything that helps level the playing field. And the way I look at life is I think of it as a game. And if I was going to introduce a game to you, I would have to teach you the rules of the game first in order for
Yeah,
you to win the game, right?
that's right.
Otherwise, you can't win the game. So, a lot of my life is centered around things I'm passionate about, but it sort of leads to finance. So, one side of the work I do is I am the CFO of one of the fastest growing bookkeeping finance companies for the trades.
Hmm.
So, if you think about HVAC and plumbing and cleaning and painting, really passionate about that because we introduce financial literacy, John, which is unheard of in
Oh,
the finance.
wonderful.
Yeah. So every week I teach on financial literacy. I teach cash flow and I teach budget. Guess what I did last week? I taught credit score, and then I show them my credit score. I show them how to win. So I
Mm.
love that because look, if you whatever you consider top, whatever you consider make it, but once you make it, it's kind of lonely up in the mountains. You
Of
want to bring
course.
other people.
That's right.
So yeah, so I'm really big on that. The second thing I'm big on is I own my own cleaning company. But why? It's not just because, I wanted to own a cleaning company. It goes back to John, what you said, my story. Because during the hardest times when I was very young, 6, 7, 8, I couldn't control a lot of things in my home. But you know what I could control, John? I could control how clean my room was.
Ah,
So when
interesting.
I would close the door, I had a purple room and I would clean my room and I would put all the toys away and I would make sure my closet looked perfect. And in my mind, that's what I could control. And now, decades later, our incredible cleaning company, Superb Maids, that's what we do. We go to people's house, we clean, we clear, we create peace and calmness. But what does it do? It heals me.
Oh, wonderful.
It heals me. Yeah. And then the third thing I do is I present all over the country and really create impact. So this next month, I'm going to be speaking at the Eugene Chamber of Commerce, and it's going to be focused on young professionals and getting them out in the community.
Oh,
And I'm
fantastic.
really excited about that. So that's where I dabble.
Yeah, and the through line that I'm seeing in all those, you mentioned finance, but
Yes.
you're teaching and you're providing a positive impact through
Yes.
everything that you're doing, right?
Yes.
So I know that your finance
Mhm.
record has an interesting
Ebbs and
has
flow.
charted an interesting path from being rejected for a
Mhm.
loan
Mhm.
many years ago
Mhm.
with, I believe, a 420 credit score.
Yes, I'll talk about that.
And
Yes.
then, you've dramatically improved that, and now you're helping folks who are in the same situation that you were in. Share that story with us.
Sure. Well, first I want to acknowledge I've lost everything in my life twice. Two times. Yep,
Mm,
two times. So the first time was what I just talked about. When I went into hiding for 5 years, I lost everything and I had to rebuild my life. The second time was when I realized that I got into a relationship that wasn't healthy. And in
mm.
order to pay the price out of the relationship, I had to file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Now, I remember that moment so clear because 6 months prior, we were in disagreement and I thought, I don't want to deal with this anymore. So I did what anybody would do. I took every bill and every debt and every invoice that belonged to this person and I put it in my name.
Okay.
Then I'm meeting with my lawyer and he says this: "Hey, Kedma, we've got two doors you can walk through and I'll give you the choice. Behind door number one, you can spend the rest of your life paying off someone else's debt." I said, "I don't like that,
What's the
attorney.
other door?
What's the other door?" He says,
Yeah.
"Well, behind number two, you get to file bankruptcy and rebuild your life again for the next 7 to 10 years."
Hmm.
So that was the choice I made. I found myself in Tucson, Arizona, sobbing my eyes out, just gone through this. And I remember the moment where I was like, I don't know if anyone has felt this, where if you have any faith, you look up and you're like, God, why are you putting me through this again?
Yeah.
Why? How many of us have said that? It was honestly the best decision that ever happened to me because, John, after I filed bankruptcy 2 weeks later, I did receive a credit card from Capital One for $200. My credit
Hmm.
score plummeted to 420.
Wow.
I opened it. I was like, $200. I couldn't understand that. Now, pause. You know I'm a serial entrepreneur, and you know I come from inventor world. How many people watching or listening to this right now would have thrown away the letter or given up the $200 or thought it was useless? I want you to inventory how many of you would have said that, because what I said was, I remember as a little girl, I would play the game Monopoly. And
Hmm.
if you've ever played, if you're totally broke, you have everything mortgaged, if you roll the dice and pass go in the board game Monopoly, the banker has to give you how much? $200. That was
Interesting.
the moment that I said, I just got played back in the game. I just got played back in the game. Then I
Huh.
said, why don't I go on a journey to uncover every fund, every resource, every grant for people like me that deserve it, the opportunity. Took me 15 years, leveraged $100 million in alternative financing for business owners. And that's how I got my book deal with McGraw-Hill and became national speaker and author and leader in the finance space. So
Wow.
all from believing something that is totally impossible can be possible.
Wow. And I really love that whole dynamic of, you go through something
Yes.
and you're poured into, you are helped out in a variety of ways to get through that thing. And then now you have the ability to uniquely help other people
Mm-hmm.
going through that exact same thing because you have been in their shoes.
That's right.
And so a silver lining to suffering, I've experienced personally as
Mm-hmm.
well, is there's people I've helped or I've been to speak into their lives in certain ways that had
Yeah.
I not gone through this very difficult situation, I could not relate to them at all.
John, thank you. Pause for everyone else. Here's what I tell people: what you state, whether you believe this or not, let's talk about frequency. Don't even worry about faith or no, let's just frequency.
Yeah.
What you state can become truth. So if you state, like my world, I want to spend my life helping people with finance. Do you know what I really said to the universe? Please ensure that I go broke and bankrupt. So I'm serious. So I know the journey they're in. How
Yes.
could I counsel, John, people who have had their house repossessed, who have lost their vehicles, who have had gone bankrupt, who have a credit score of 420. Who would I be if I didn't go through my own suffering?
Yeah.
So that is what I say. Be very careful what you say, because the universe will give you exactly what you need to learn in order to show up and be that person for others.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love that, and it's so fulfilling. And
Mm-hmm.
when you get to a point where you're really helping people, you look back on that tough situation and there's almost a thought of, I'm glad I went through that
Oh,
because of
need
what
it.
I can do now, right?
Exactly. Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
Now
And
you
mhm.
now
Go
you
ahead.
did mention your book, which is
Mhm.
called Target Funding, a proven
Correct.
system to get the money and resources you need to start or grow your business. Tell us, what is this book all about?
It's totally, it's like an encyclopedia in the sense that I didn't want to hold all the secrets. I wanted to make sure everyone has had it. Now, prior to anything like AI, an average book could take maybe 3, 6 months to have developed.
Yeah.
If you're working with an author, a ghostwriter, or anybody at the publication level,
Yeah.
us took 3 years, John. Do you want to
Wow.
know why? Because in order for someone to have in my book a credible source of finance, we had to verify it was credible. three
Yeah, good point.
years. So
Wow.
we have, and so the way the book is broken down is I teach that the only way to find money is variable. So I can go to any company, honestly, I don't care where you are, and I can find money very quickly because money is tied to variables. And what are variables, John? Variables are your mission. It could be your stage of your business, your
Hmm.
community. It could be the services you're offering. It's so many variables, and that's how you do it. So, as an example, in 2008, I filed bankruptcy, so you're aware of that. In 2008, I was able to purchase my own commercial office, knowing I went bankrupt, because I knew about this economic development, these grants, these variables. And the variable was there was a special program only open to women, minorities, or people who had just entered into that to the state.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to be a small business. You had to be 3 years in operation, and you had to be doing something of community impact. Those were the rules. I don't
Hmm.
make up the rules. Those are the rules. But because I knew that, I qualified, and all I had to do was put 6% down, not 10%, not 20%, not 25%. And my interest was fixed for
Hmm.
over a decade at 0.04%, less than 0.5% interest as my
Wow.
mortgage.
Wow.
And it can never exceed 3%. So some would say that's kind of a grant, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
written that way.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, I know that I'm close to a couple economic development corporations in
Yes.
the Dallas area. And
Yes.
one thing that has really opened my eyes being in touch with these folks is how much money really is available.
A lot.
And even more to that point, how much money is available that people don't know about
A
at
ton.
all, a ton. And so, Kedma, perhaps you can help us understand, for those watching and listening, how you mentioned the variables, which are
Yes.
fantastic because we're all part of a
Yes.
group,
Yes.
right? You might be a veteran, you might be a
Exactly.
woman,
That's
you
right.
might be a ethnic minority of some
That's
sort, you
right.
may
Yep.
XYZ or a certain type of business that they want to incentivize, right?
Hmm. Yep.
How can those listening and watching find the
Hmm.
grants that are available
Yes.
for the variables
Great
that they
questions.
qualify for?
Great question. First, I want to be honest. A lot of times the grants are being funded from the federal level or the state level, or even down to, county, or even localized. It may change based on who's in administration.
Yeah.
Okay. Second, it's about the keyword. If you go ahead right now and say, I'm looking for grants in Dallas, you're not going to get a lot because that is not specific. If
Too
you
broad.
say, too broad, if
Hmm.
you say, I'm going to give you guys one now, because this is so funny. I kid you not, John. Every time I do a keynote in a particular area, whether it's Dallas or Oregon or New Jersey, right after that, all the community agencies get a flood of people like, hey, what about this funding? They're like, oh, Kedma's in town. Kedma's
I
in
bet.
town. Because now they're getting bombarded. So it's
Yeah.
going to be keywords. So here's an example. I guarantee you, John, most of your audience have no idea what I'm about to say, but I'm going to teach you. One of the programs is called IDA, Individual Development Account. And John's writing this down because he's like, I'm going to get this. Now, what is the IDA? It's a phenomenal program. It's a program that was established by, now I'm teaching you this because one of the things I want, you asked me how to find it. You won't know until you know the keywords.
Right.
You wouldn't know IDA. You're going to go for grants. You would never find IDA. But I'm teaching you this, and from there we can go granular. So what is the IDA? Because I want to give everyone a gift. The IDA was established by the federal government where they went around. You're going to love this, John. They went around and they would ask the average American, hey, I'm just curious, how are you financially doing this month? What do you think the average American said to the surveyor?
Not great.
I'm broke.
Yeah.
That's what they said. I'm broke. So the survey said, you know what? No problem. Let me come back in 6 months and I'm sure you're going to be doing better. They came back to the same people 6 months later. Hey, John.
Still broke.
Still broke. Came back 6 months after that. Hey, John. Hi.
You wouldn't believe it, but
Still broke.
still broke.
So guess what? The government said, listen, we have to create a hand up, not a hand out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference because a hand up requires us to do education so you can get out of that. A hand out doesn't teach them how to fish. This is how IDA was born. So here's the hand up. These programs are all over your communities. They're in Dallas, they're in New Jersey, they're in Georgia, they're in Texas. If you're listening anywhere in the country, go right now. Individual development account. Let me tell you the 4 options. Number 1, you can actually get funding in the form of a grant for small business. Number 2, you can get it for college, going back to school. The third one you can get it for, believe it or not, is saving for a home. We know from an economic development perspective that the biggest secret to getting out of poverty is what we call asset building.
Yeah.
Purchasing a home changes generationally people's lives. And the fourth one is for accessibility. Now, here's how it works. It's based on household income, John. Either you qualify or you don't qualify. Now, people are going to come to me, well, I didn't qualify. That's not my problem. I'm here to give you the rules of the game. I don't change the game. So it's based on household income. The cool part is if you qualify, then every person in your household is eligible for that project or that program as long as they have different goals. Now, what is
everyone in your... Say that one more time, a little slower.
Oh, now
You
you're
caught me.
getting it.
Yeah.
Everybody in your household, they have to be, I think, 14 and or older, is qualified for that program as long as it's different goals. So now I worked with a family a few years ago. The father was a chiropractor. The mother was a social media manager. And then the son was doing a little lawn maintenance. All different goals.
Yeah.
They all got that eligibility. So what does that come down? Now you're probably asking, well, what is it, Kedma? What is it, Kedma? I'm going to tell you. The way it works is it's what we call matched savings. So if you give me $1,000, I'm going to match you. Now, depending on which agency you work with, that match could be 2 to 1. Hey, I'm going to give you 2,000. You give me 1,000, I'll give you 2,000. It could be 3 to 1. It could be 5 to 1. I've seen it 8 to 1. What does 8 to 1 look like? John, you give me 1,000, I'm going to give you 8,000. Now, what is the carrot? The carrot is you have to go through their financial training program. Whether it's housing, you got to learn about housing. Whether it's small business, you need to buy a small business. But once you complete their program, that match goes to that goal. So I have watched over and over and over again, people buy new homes through that program, new businesses through that program. Now, oh wait, guys, pause. If I don't know if they're able to visually see what's happening. John's mind just went to the left, which means he's thinking about something. So I'm going to ask him what, because I'm trained to study, the nonverbals. What were you just thinking right now?
I was just thinking of how different people in my home who are doing different things can benefit from the
Exactly.
thing that I'm qualified for. Yeah.
That's exactly it. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly it. And so this is just one of many. Depends again what you're looking at. But you asked me how. I think it has to first come from what are you trying to achieve?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you located? Okay. And then from there, it's just the variables. So,
Yeah.
first thing I would say as a takeaway for anyone here, check in with your economics. So, if you're in Dallas, first I'm going to look at Texas economic development on the state level. Then I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to look within your city. I'm going to look at Dallas economic. And by the way, I got to plug in Iram. Iram is based in Dallas, and she runs Dallas Professional for Women. And
Oh,
I know
wonderful.
that they do some cool programs. So, and this is just an example because you happen to be in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, there is a lot of resources available, but people just don't know how to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's another thing is, I mean, financing is kind of the great equalizer, right?
Yes.
From the standpoint that whether you have a divide, a financial divide, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you hear all this about the rich get richer, and I'm not getting into all the politics or anything like that, but
Sure.
one reason the rich get richer is because it's so much easier to make money when you have money.
You're right.
You have these compounding things, right? If you
Yes.
have enough money to buy a house, then
True.
you have real estate. Now if you sell that, you can get more money if you make money on it, or
Agreed.
you investment property or XYZ, right? And so there's a certain level that it's similar to when you're starting your career. How do I get experience without experience?
John, you're 100% right. But I'm going to give you an alternative reality that most people don't want to talk about.
Okay,
So
I'm
that
ready
one,
for it.
you're right. That one, you're right. But the other one is I do run a program called FAR, FAR, and it's through an incredible organization, Iron Books, where we deal with business owners who are going through really difficult times. We're talking that losing money, deciding on whether they should go out of business or not. Like real, our job is to turn them around within 90 days. And actually, it's an incredible program because one of the things we do is our job is to turn them around and bring them up. But it's pretty
Hmm.
intense, right? Because I manage the program. Here's the thing I first tell them, you're gonna love this. So they come in and it's intense. I mean, the family members, they put thousands, they put their whole life savings in business, and they're like, I need this money. I go, okay, first we're gonna look at what you're spending. So I make them do something, and I want everyone to do this. Oh, you know where I'm going. I want everyone to do this. I want you to go online to the app store, to the store, and download what we call the spending tracker. It's a very easy, free
Mm-hmm.
thing called spending tracker. And then, John, I make them, they've got to track, because I look at screenshots, they have to track everything they're spending money on personally for the first month. Then they come back to me because we see it, and I'm like, oh, looks like you spent $1,500 going out to dinner. They're like, well, that's your mortgage. And what
Yeah.
we start to realize, John, is we are in a society where we're indulging,
Yes.
we're overspending, we are spending things we don't need, and we need to stop.
Yeah.
We need to stop. We're just using credit cards as if it's just water.
Right. Oh, I got extra money. Yeah. I remember
So,
so I grew up in a home where we were very frugal. So,
like me.
yeah, and I think it was a bit of an annoyance as I was growing up, but I thank my mother nowadays because
Mm,
I have been conditioned in this frugality myself. But I remember watching a commercial one time. It had something to do with debt relief, but
hmm
the actors in the commercial, they get a credit card in the mail,
hmm
and the wife or the husband, whoever opens it, says, "Oh, babe, check it out. We could go on a vacation. And the person's like, no, remember, we are being responsible now, and they cut it up. And because of the way I grew up, we didn't do that. But
Right.
just seeing that blew my mind.
It's
I
true.
was like, wait a minute. People really do this? That like you
Yes.
get a credit and you're like, oh, free money,
Yes.
awesome. And then you blink and you're in debt $30,000.
Not only debt $30,000, some of the people we deal with, they're paying interest. I'm not kidding. 30, 40, 50%. Here's what I tell anybody listening here. If you see any kind of funding that you can get within 5 minutes online, shut your computer and call John. Do not open the computer. Do not open the computer. And why does this matter for me? Why am I passionate about it? So I'm going to disclose something to this community. I am a recovering addict. I am sober 35 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. As an addict, I will always be an addict. So I'm an addict. I will always be an addict, but I choose healthy addictions. These days it's a gym. If you want to meet me 5 a.m, Planet Fitness in Milwaukee, Oregon, I'll meet you there. But
nice.
Here's what I've learned. So much of the addiction, guess where I see it, John? I see it in spending addictions.
Yeah. And that's not what we highlight as much. We talk about alcohol, we talk about drugs, we talk about gambling.
We need to talk about spending addictions because nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. But you know who's going to the bank? Credit cards. Credit cards are taking it to the bank.
Yep.
They're luring you in. And so what your mother taught you, bless her heart, is the right thing. And I want to say one more comment. My son, we go food shopping together, my youngest son, he knows this about me. Everything goes in the spending tracker. He must actually read everything we did and then determine on the way home whether we got a good deal or not. So last month, it was 3 days before the end of the month. He goes to his dad. We're happily married. He goes, Dad, can you take me food shopping? And my husband goes, well, Mom always takes you. I know, Dad, but I mean, well, she's kind of, Dad, she asked me whether I needed the peach or not, and I had to justify it in the grocery. And if you don't take me, I don't think I'm going to eat for the next 3 days because she's waiting for the spending tracker. And so
amazing.
So my sister sent a message. You could get anything on Uber Eats. We're going to come.
Talk about spending frivolously. Yeah, go ahead and add all those delivery fees.
I am so hardcore, John. So,
yeah.
But it comes from that. It comes from having nothing and having to make decisions. You know, where am I going to spend my money?
Yeah. Well, I want to get in a little bit more into some of your insights on finance with businesses
let's
here.
do it.
But first, let's listen to a message from our sponsor, Sphere Rocket.
Business owners and entrepreneurs will place a proven executive assistant VA for just $4 to $8 an hour, and if they don't perform, you don't pay. Imagine freeing up 20 plus hours a week by someone handling your most time-consuming tasks like admin work, managing emails, scheduling meetings, and so much more. This one hire could transform your productivity and give you back the time you need to focus on growing your business. At Sphere Rocket VA, we make this possible in as little as 7 days. We'll place a proven executive assistant VA in your business for just $4 to $8 an hour, and your VA will take over day-to-day administrative tasks, help manage your email and calendar, follow up with past clients, giving you back 20 plus hours a week so you can increase your sales and even enjoy more personal time. And here's the best part. If they don't give you back 20 plus hours a week in the first month, you don't pay Sphere Rocket a dime. We've done this for thousands of business owners, and now it's your turn to see the results. Click the link around this video to schedule a demo and discover how this one hire can completely change how you run your business. Remember, if within 45 days the VA doesn't perform, you don't pay.
All right, we're here with Kedma Ough, and she is delighting us with all sorts of insights about finance associated with business and especially startups. Kedma, you did a great job helping us understand that first step of reining in spending, which is that tracker.
So good.
You know, there's been times where, you know, I look through my monthly spending, you do a little audit, and even as frugal as I may be, I'm like, wait a minute. I still have that gym subscription.
It's true.
You know, I live in this apartment now that has a gym. I'm still paying for this. Or, there was that night where I spent $85
Mm-hmm.
because I went and had a nice dinner with someone, etc., right?
Yes.
Um, what is another, so fun, just tracking does a lot, right? Because it
Yes.
helps us self-assess and realize,
Correct.
wait, this is
Correct.
crazy.
Correct.
What's another step that can help rein in that spending once we've tracked it?
I think what we have to do, and this sounds really, it may sound obvious, but it's not. What is considered obvious does not mean it's implemented. So let me explain.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest and tell you that there are thousands and thousands of articles and books right now to get people to have a six-pack.
Yes.
How many people have a six-pack? How many people are at the gym?
Not
Let me
enough.
see, John. Right, exactly. So what the second most important thing is you must discipline yourself on what you want to consider in terms of happiness. Okay. Now, this is a very important lesson. So, for example, I'm not motivated to have a fancy car.
Okay.
I have an older car. I'm not motivated to have the most expensive house. I could care less. I'm not even motivated to have fancy dresses. All of my dresses are purchased on Amazon, Goodwill, or Shein. Okay.
And they have capes on the back.
And they have capes. I do have custom case. But I'll tell you what brings me freedom and happiness. Travel.
Mm.
And I have been traveling even when I was in hiding for 5 years. I would give up anything, even down to deciding, like, do I have an extra meal or not? Because travel meant so much to me.
Mm.
So travel gives me freedom and thoughts. So the first thing I would say is you want to decide very quickly how you're motivated. This is a very powerful lesson, John, for everyone here. So I break down humans into two categories. That's right. Billions of humans get to be in two categories. I'm going to tell you the category, John. You cannot be in the middle. You tell me which one you're in.
Okay.
And then I'm going to know how to motivate you. It's going to be so much fun. Okay?
All right, I'm ready.
Humans are either motivated by pain or by pleasure. That's it. How you're motivated will wire your brain to get you what you want. Now, if you are motivated by pain, you will know things like that. So someone would say to you, John, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You don't have what it takes. And if you're motivated by pain, you're going to be like, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you. Boom, pain. If you're motivated by pleasure, it's going to be like, John, man, I can't believe how incredible you are. Just learning this technology, how you deliver on your podcast, how you make people feel so special. Oh, John's going to be like, wow, I am that. I feel
That's
that.
me.
Are you motivated by pleasure?
Yes.
Great. Everyone watching this right now, if you are working with John, because he's motivated by pleasure, you know now how his brain is wired. If you do not deliver this, his brain will reject you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you will be rejected because he will seek pleasure for the rest of his life. So now what we want to do is we want to align what he wants and find out what's going to please him. So what is your motivating factor, John? What would be something that you would love to have in the next 12 months? Whether it's a toy, whether it's a travel, whether it's a relationship, what would you love, John?
Travel.
Travel. Where would you like to go?
San Diego.
San Diego. When would you like to go?
Probably in the fall.
In the fall. And who would you like to go with?
I would like to take my son.
You'd like to take your son. And what are you going to do with your son there? Why San Diego?
San Diego is my favorite place in the United States. I have friends there. I'm a skateboarder, and so they have great skate parks. I love the authentic Mexican food.
Great.
I love the beach, and the weather is just like,
amazing.
How can it be this good all the time?
And how long would you like to go with your son to San Diego?
I would want to go for probably 4 to 5 days.
Great. Yeah. So we are right now we're filming in August. Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 days to book a flight.
Okay.
Okay? Because once you book the flight, John, you're committed. And I'm going to tell your brain it's necessary for you to book the flight because you want pleasure. You don't want pain. The longer you wait to book the flight, the more expensive it will be. How do I know that? Because I'm a travel addict and I study travel for a living on top of everything else. So in order to let your brain know, hey, this is your incentive. If you start looking in the next 3 days, you can get the best deals. A lot of times the deals happen on the weekends, anytime between now and Tuesday. I want you to do a little bit of, and once you do that, guess what, John? You're going to have a couple of months to pour into your son, to get excited, to talk about the Mexican food, to get him excited. And what I would suggest you do, how old is your son?
11.
Great. He's going to write a book report for you on what he's going to learn in San Diego. And he's going to share it with you as his gift on why he should go with you.
Okay. I love that.
What just happened in your brain?
I went through what you were, I went through kind of the trip and what I would be experiencing with my son and what we would do together and, his response to hearing about the trip.
Great.
Yeah.
I want to teach everyone what just happened in real time. In order for you to get whatever you want in life, you must replicate it in the brain first. Because I introduced this to John, I walked him through, I gave him the image, I showed him the impact, and I gave him the winning of just book the flight. Now his brain was able to go through the pathway to get to where he wants to be. Mm-hmm. All he has to do now is go online in the next 3 days because I have to hold him accountable to a time frame. You cannot accomplish any goal without a time frame.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you have to have some, and does that create urgency or does
that's exactly what it creates. Okay. If you do not create urgency, your brain will deprioritize it. For people who have ADD, ADHD, procrastinate, the way you win that is 2 things. You must create a goal and you must have someone accountable to holding you for the goal, which is why I said, John, I'm giving you 3 days. I didn't ask him. I told him. Mm-hmm. Now, his brain knows without knowing me, we're meeting for the first time, but his brain already knows, oh crap, coach is going to be checking in on whether you book that. Okay. And that motivates him to create impact for what he wants. Why? Because I want to support his pleasure. I want him to be with his son. I want him to experience San Diego. All of that happens. And now he's in a new space in his brain. He's looking forward to it. You see what I mean? I know.
Yeah. That's incredible.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Well, I want to pull you back to the business and finance because there's a couple questions I would love for our audience to hear from you that I think would really benefit our listeners. One is, what do most entrepreneurs misunderstand about business funding? I know we covered off on,
I'll tell you,
there's a lot of money available and then the variables, but
So the first most important thing is, number one, I don't live in a life of or, I live in a life of and. Very important for entrepreneurs because sometimes when you have a vision and you want to start a business, you think, well, I would like to start a business. Let me go ahead and quit my 6-figure job. The fact that my wife is pregnant and I have 3 other kids, let me go ahead and quit and just jump into that. That is an or experience. It's not an and experience. A lot of the successful entrepreneurs I have worked with have been able to transition correctly into an entrepreneurship role by slowly integrating it. Yes, you're going to have to work more hours. Yes, you're going to have to work evenings and weekends. Yes, you may have to do double time sometimes, but that's better than going home to your partner and saying, I don't have a paycheck today. So the first thing I would say is from a finance, make sure you are thinking through the projections before you make a big decision for your family. Second, there's good debt and bad debt. Not all debt is bad. There's good debt and bad debt. What is good debt? Owning a home, owning a building,
right?
Owning vehicles, owning tools that are over $300. What's bad debt? Credit cards, loan sharks, payday loans,
Mm-hmm.
MCA, merchant cash accounts. So, we have to understand good debt and bad debt. I think the third thing is, and this is the hard thing, and it's not related directly to finance, but it's related to building a business. You don't know what you don't know. You have to bring in an expert. If I hear another person shoot down a coach and say it's a bunch of BS, they have no idea how to build successful companies. The company I'm aligned with, Painter Growth, is one of the top leading coaching companies for painters. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to start a painting company, who better to teach you than a successful painter? Let's be obvious. You and I are TEDx graduates, right?
Right.
I had a TEDx coach, John. I didn't wake up and decide I'm just going to go ahead and start TEDxing. I had a TEDx coach. I'm also a stand-up comedian. I have a stand-up comedian coach. So
Fine.
that would be the third thing. Make sure you get the right coach to help you.
Yeah. Second to last question here, Kedma. I could talk to you forever. Fortunately, we have a limited amount of time, and I'm learning so much. My notebook is
I know
full
your notebook
for
is
those
so
who can see this. What is your advice for someone, an entrepreneur who is starting a business and they don't have a lot of money?
Great. So I don't give advice because advice comes from a place where you've not been there. I only give counsel.
Okay.
So
Important distinction.
yes.
Thank you.
So counsel, in order for you to be successful, it's not how much money you raise. It's who you know. It's who you know. So what I'm
Okay.
going to tell you is if you have no money, I want you to build your community, build your resources, get in the right room. One of the things I do as a fun hack, John, that most people never do is anytime I review a book, either online or just old school, I write to the author. The author almost falls off the plane. Oh my God, you wrote to me? Nobody writes to me.
Yeah.
I write to the author. Hey, thank you so much. I write to people on LinkedIn. Hey, I've been following you. I'm not selling. I'm building relationship. Hey, I followed you. I really love this post. I would love to be part of your network. If you could do me a favor, for anyone listening, I want you to spend every week trying to find one new community or one new person. You're going to have wealth. People will pour into you if you pour into people.
Yes.
That's it. That's how you navigate the money issue. Because I'm an accredited investor. Anybody I invest in, I've known for years. And I believe in them before I believe in the product.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the show Shark Tank. And one of the consistent things that I see on this show is people saying, every once in a while, there's an incredible entrepreneur.
Yes.
And the sharks will say, hey, I don't care what your business is. I'm investing in you,
That's right.
the person, right?
That's
And
right.
so that's great advice. And I can also relate to the fact of when you add value to somebody first, and it's not a quid pro quo of if I do this for you, you do this for me. But if you're just simply adding value to others around you, there's this goodwill that you're creating and you're attracting people to you as well. And one final thing I'll share on that too. I share
Please.
this all the time. There was a study done years ago, and it was to answer the question, who over time wins? Is it the givers or the takers? Right? And so we want to believe it's the givers because that feels good.
That's
Right?
right.
But our experiences sometimes say, I think it's the takers because I see a lot of successful jerks out there who are taking and climbing and stepping over, what have you, right? This is like a 20-year study or something like that. And it turned out that what they found is over time, it was givers who win.
Wow.
But with one important caveat. Givers who are surrounded by other givers.
Love
Because
that so
then
much.
everybody, the
I
boat
love
is
that
raised.
so much. Yes.
Right? Similarly, there's this children's book I have. I still have it. I have it from my childhood, and I share
The
it with
Giving
my
Tree.
son. No, it's not The Giving Tree.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's this Chinese fable book, and it's these illustrations, and there's a little short fable on each story. And there's these pandas. and they're in this giant big round table, and they have giant lengthy chopsticks, okay?
Okay.
And so there's one in heaven and there's one in hell,
Ooh.
okay? And there's a little panda that's visiting.
Oh my God.
And so he goes to the big table in hell, and everybody's mad, and everyone's hungry, and they're starving because with these big, long, awkward, terrible chopsticks, they
Yeah.
can't eat. And then he goes into heaven, and I bet you know probably what's going to happen. Everybody is happy.
Of course.
Everybody is content. Everyone is fed. Why? Because with their long, awkward chopsticks, they are feeding each other across the table.
Oh, love that so much. Love
What a
that so
great
much.
analogy.
What a great analogy.
Well, with
What
that,
can I do to
Kedma,
serve you, John?
what you can do to serve me is to help our listeners and viewers understand how they can reach you to learn more about business finance.
Well, a couple of ways. You can reach through John, right? Because I want to
Yep.
always honor the host. You can just, honestly, if you just key in Kedma, if you find another Kedma in the world, please run, John. Just run. But you can find me on LinkedIn. Or my first and last name, it's just Kedma at kedmaough.com. But if you just go in Kedma TED Talk, there's many ways to reach me. You can find me on Facebook. There's many, many ways to reach me. And I do want to thank you. I want to thank the audience. I have a statement in life that every friend I have in my space was first a stranger. And I need more friends. So because I'm a terrible psychic and I don't know who's going to be watching or listening, please feel comfortable to reach out. And also love to connect on LinkedIn. Anything I can do to serve the community, that's what I want to do.
I appreciate that. Well, Kedma, it was such a pleasure to have
Thank
you
you.
on the show today. I mean, my notebook, I need a new notebook. This thing is full now. I really encourage our listeners, to listen to this episode with a notebook and a pen themselves. A lot of great feedback here on how to get started, how to get through tough situations in life, and how to benefit others with the challenges that you have been through. Thank you once again,
Thank
Kedma Ough,
you.
for joining me on the Leverage Podcast.
Thank you.